Hey, this is Tarence Lauchié, and I'd like to thank you for tuning in to this podcast, The Growth Exchange. This podcast was designed to curate conversation, dialogue, and monologue around all things growth. I believe that everything living has the potential to grow into its fullest and most maximal potential. So let's grow. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Growth Exchange podcast. I'm Dr. Tarence Lauchié, and I often say one of the reasons why I am a doctor is because of this person that I have here. We're going to have a great conversation with none other than the Dr. Shaquille Anthony. I was teasing him off air about having two first names. He says he's got three, so we're going to talk. What's the middle name?
Marquise.
Yeah, so you got Shaquille Marquise Anthony. That's three names. You know,
No, how my mama did it, but
she did it. She did a great job. Well, actually, she did a great job in making you. I just want to say that publicly. One of the things that I mentioned was that you can't mentor in reverse, but I think we broke the mold on that. You've had an opportunity to be influential in my life in making some growth accomplishments, and likewise, hopefully, I've been able to be as much of a blessing to you as you have been to me.
100%.
But the reason why I completed the doctorate program is because of this man sitting right here. So we need to give him a shout out.
Man, I appreciate that.
Shout out.
I appreciate that.
He has been a coach, trainer, and he even try to act like a son every now and then. He has a spirit of a son, if that is such a thing. But man, talk a little bit about what's going on in your life. Now you're Mr. Corwell Health.
That's funny.
For those who don't know, he has a muckety muck job at Corwell Health, one of the largest employers in the nation, but the largest in the state of Michigan.
No, life has been good. I do serve as a lead organizational development specialist at Corwell Health. So what that means is I help lead the strategy for culture for the entire system. So that's East, Southwest, and Priority Health. And so it sounds like a crazy job.
You're global, man.
But I promise you I love what I get to do. And I put the emphasis on get to because I know that I don't have to. So the fact that I'm in a role that aligns with everything that I am is a blessing. And I know that a lot of people don't. They don't have that. Right?
Well, I remember some of your growth transitions while we were both in school, but then also in the doctoral program, but also career-wise. There were some steps, missteps, some step ups, some step overs, some step backs, and now you're standing at the top of the stairs. But that growth journey that you have had over your life wasn't always pretty. And it definitely is worth hearing the testimonial of how you've grown over the years. You went straight from middle school to high school, from high school to undergrad to grad, from grad to doctoral, and they call it a terminal degree for a reason, right?
So
talk about your growth journey.
It's it's a very interesting journey. Born and raised in Muskegon Heights. Emphasis on the heights. Shout out to the Tigers. Emphasis on the heights. Emphasis on the heights.
You get street credit for mentioning the heights. That's like me being from Detroit and I say East Side of Detroit.
Okay, South Side. Heights, Tigers all day. Born and raised there. My mom, my sisters. I'm the only boy, and so I have an older sister and a younger sister, and very unique life story. I was born and my dad was around for a short period of time. I ended up losing my dad to suicide on my 5th birthday. And didn't really come into understanding his absence or him being gone until I was about 7 or 8. And it's funny how things happen because I don't have a ton of memories with him, but I do have a few. And one of those was I played a lot. I talked a lot in school, played a lot in school. Right?
No, you were an introvert. You just quiet.
No, sir.
Oh, okay.
Right. And one of the things he would do is he would say, if you do good in school, by the end of the week, Friday, there's a place in Muskegon called Mr. Scribbs. Shout out to Mr. Scribbs.
Pizza.
Oh, yes. Right. And so he would let me get my pizza and, we would go on about the day. But this particular day, I remember vividly because everything was well. We did the routine and we got to the house and I remember sitting at a table in the dining room and he got like real serious with me and I didn't understand because I was like, I did all right. I'm thinking somebody called me. It's been a great week.
You got somebody reneged on the secret.
Absolutely. I'm like, what happened, right? And so he said these words to me that stuck with me. He said, son, don't ever forget that you're my son and that you can do whatever you want to do. You got my blood running through your veins. You can do whatever you want to do,
Wow.
right? And that stuck with me. Now, of course, that came out in several iterations,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
The running joke
The
is when
stuff
I
that
was
you were supposed to do and the stuff that you wasn't
oh,
supposed
come on
to
now
do.
here. My family laughs at me because I would do crazy stuff, bad stuff, right? And be like, you ain't my mama, you ain't my daddy, huh? My daddy said I could do whatever I want to do, right?
Yeah,
And,
right.
and it would come out, but seriously, it was a seed that I think is the main reason I am where I am today. So as much as I would have loved to have more time with him, as much as I would have loved to grow up with him, I mean, there's a lot that I felt like I missed out on, right? He didn't teach me how to ride a bike. He didn't teach me how to drive. He didn't talk to me about girls. He never made it to a graduation, right? But it was that thing. And I remember as I got older going through therapy, and my therapist asked me a question. He said, do you think your father was ever supposed to raise you? And I was like, And like I had to call time out. I was like, yeah, that's a lot for me. And I took a break, and I mean I was boo-hoo crying, right? Because I never thought about it that way.
Sure.
And he wasn't trying to be disrespectful at all.
No.
He was listening to my story, and he said the reason that he asked me that question was because understanding what he did, but then understanding that I was never really fatherless though. Because there were these men in my life that came along to water what was already in there.
Now you're
right?
jumping right into the conversation, probably because we've had so many pre conversations. Hence the research work.
Oh,
You were
100%.
very, very helpful and influential in the project that I called a dissertation. And obviously they called it that too.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
was so inspired to even watch you defend yours online. It was COVID era
Yeah,
when we did our
yeah, it's
doctoral work,
crazy.
just the end of COVID era. But just that statement alone indicates that you leave an impression on people, or you make a mark on folks that you've arrived to a place that you may not even be aware of. And when I say arrived to that place, we haven't arrived to the fullness of our destination, but it's obvious that you've met with destiny. It's obvious that destiny, which is an ongoing process, is part of your everyday thing. You know, you mentioned not having to apologize or not having to decode or code switch in what you do professionally. A lot of that probably has to do with your life experiences.
100%. I think I started to realize early on that my authenticity would be the key to several levels in my life. And understanding that in this day and age, there's so much that is artificial, that there is an increased hunger for the authentic, and understanding what authenticity is. So how I define
As
authenticity.
opposed to being a buzzword.
Right.
Because it's
Yeah.
definitely a generational
Oh,
term.
100%. 100%. And a lot of people that say they're being authentic are not.
Or
Right.
people desiring authenticity say, we just want you to be authentic. No, you don't.
No,
you
you
just
don't.
want somebody's business.
You want somebody's business, or you want me to be authentic to who you've made me be in your mind,
or
who you expect me to be.
affirm your expected weakness.
100%. And so authenticity, when you think about it, is self-awareness times audacity. Right?
What?
Right. That's what it is. That's
Wait. That's the mind-blowing emoji.
No, that's what it is, right? It's self-awareness times audacity. It is you being aware of everything that has happened in your life, your experiences, the things you've gone through, you being aware of your deficiencies, your opportunities, your strengths, your weaknesses. And then it is the audacity to use all of that, right, and live in it and not shy away from any of it. Like, I don't shy away from nothing about my story. Like, there's nothing in my story to this day at 32 years old. If I could go back and I could rewrite my life, there's not a part that I would touch.
Yeah, because you come to know that that's what made you who you are.
It without those elements, without those experiences, I'm not this Shaq.
Yeah, to some people, they say, oh, wow, that's just so overconfident. That's even borderline arrogant. And I disagree with the arrogancy accusation, because being 32, being a black man who is the father of your children, and you actually stand in the lives of people as a positive, like, you've beat the odds. You have beat the odds just to be 32 years old and sitting here talking to another person who, had some similar life experiences and made it to this level. You've beat the odds. What's the secret to that? I know Faith is going to come into this conversation, but the secret to beating those odds, because you're well on your way to even more.
I think it was okay. Yes, faith, but I also think it's framing. How it's not always what you see; it's how you see it. Mm-hmm. Right, and
So the eyes that we see it through.
yes,
Yeah, faith.
right.
Eyes.
It's the framing. There's no difference between me and the next person, right? There's always people who've gone through worse. I think that the only difference is my framing of what I went through, and the lens in which I view it through. I think that with my experiences, I was able to identify the lesson. So, who not to be, what not to do,
exactly,
right? What not to fall into, what not to, and because I had that framing, I think it gave me a fortitude to continue on, to drive forward. And so, instead of shying away or using those as excuses, I use them as lessons. I use them as lessons to help me navigate life. You know what I'm saying? Like, without those lessons, I wouldn't be here. And so when people say, like, what's the secret? Like, you did all this stuff, or you made it through all, it's really the frame. Like, it's the frame. Yes, it's faith.
how you view it.
It's how you view it. And the moment that you have the epiphany about what you're going through, the moment that you have that switch in your thought process and in your mind, it opens you up to a whole nother level of possibility, and opportunity.
It sounds like you embrace a similar philosophy that I have, that there's no such thing as victim.
No.
And why would you cry victimhood when you've already got victory?
100%.
And that's the thing you embrace, or obviously view victory over victimhood every single day.
Every day.
In context, because some people listening might be like, well, what are they talking about as far as that? Just completing a doctoral degree as a black man in America is a feat. You entered into a small percentage of an echelon, and that doesn't mean arrogance or you're special, but it does mean that God had his hand on you, and that there was obviously purpose behind it. You're getting to do, you said it, your words, you're getting to do what you were put here to do. How did that doctoral achievement play a part?
It played a huge role. My entire higher education journey was insane, right? So I went straight
higher
through.
Because you went straight through. I was gonna say you went from faith to faith to faith to faith to faith to finish.
Oh yeah. So it was straight through. Grade school, middle school, high school, straight to undergrad, straight into my master's program, straight into my doctorate program. I graduated with my master's on the 9th of May.
Okay.
Right? And I started May 11th. That Monday.
With the doctoral program.
With the doctoral program. And so...
And you knocked it out.
I went through all of that, and honestly, it's so crazy because there was so much happening around me during that time. So... my daughter had just been born after I graduated with my undergrad, and then I went into my master's degree. My stepdad died, right? And then
so you had the loss of two fathers.
Oh, it was crazy. And then I'm in my doctoral program, and all of this stuff is happening around me.
Job transition.
Transitions. It's just stuff happening, and I think that the doctoral program, I think it gave me a sense of credibility academically that only affirmed what was in me from the beginning of time.
Hold that thought, because we're going to take a break. When we come back from the break, I want you to unpack, pun intended, what was on the inside of you. The doctoral program obviously validated something on the inside. All right, we're going to take a quick break. So when we come back, we're going to get into a further conversation. But I want to say before we take the break that the sponsors and the sponsoring partners of the Growth Exchange podcast are just that, partners who help to make sure that we are reaching beyond just, a few clicks and likes and shares. So I want to encourage you that if you're interested in becoming a partnering sponsor of the Growth Exchange podcast, you will have an opportunity at the end of the broadcast. But we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. This episode is sponsored by Speak Media Services, where we believe everyone deserves the opportunity to capture and preserve their unique stories. You're not just another number in the crowd. Your individuality matters. Our intimate photography and videography services are tailored to your vision and budget, ensuring your essence shines through. Allow us to help preserve the moments that mean the most. With our support, you'll create cherished keepsakes to treasure for years to come. Speak Media Services, your story, your way. All right, we are back. I had to freeze for a moment because Shaq was talking about some stuff that I think y'all need to hear. But no, it's been a privilege to just be a part of this man's life and he a part of my life. We were talking about the stuff on the inside of you coming forward and being validated in your doctoral program. We had some classes together, and one of them in particular, a professor, former professor, talked about the imposter syndrome. So you were sharing, your affinity for our connection. It's a son type thing. You literally, like I said, you are a father. But you also have the spirit of a son, which means you know how to submit yourself to one's authority, but also make yourself available to be poured into.
100%.
Out of all the things that have been poured into you, what are those things that have been validated and come out of you that erases the imposter syndrome? You don't have an imposter syndrome. It's obvious that you don't have that. And for those who don't know what the imposter syndrome is, they need to look it up. But you don't possess this apologetic presence or this sense of unworthiness for what you've accomplished. What's in you that makes you unapologetic?
I think it's what's in me that makes me unapologetic. I think it is this resolve around my identity and my purpose. We talked a little bit about that. And what I feel like I am literally on earth to do. And I think once I got clarity about that, it helped me navigate life. I'm not going to say it was easy, but it was easier to navigate, even with the doctoral program. Remember, I don't know if you remember, but I came into the program knowing what I wanted to study already.
That's true. You already had your
because
thesis.
When I stood up at that first residency and they were like, what do you want to study? And I was like, I'm going to do a phenomenological study on understanding why African Americans in the 49507 zip code don't participate in workforce development programs.
And you had them at phenomenological. You can't even say that word without impressing somebody. Phenomenological. You can add syllables or take syllables away and still say the word.
Sir, I stood up in that room. I'm number one. I'm the youngest in the room.
Right.
I'm old enough to be everybody's son or grandson. Okay,
young enough,
right? Like young enough to be everybody's son or grandson. And I think that clarity, right? It has been a guiding light for me. In understanding and being okay and accepting that once you understand your purpose, your identity, what you're here for, that there are different expressions of that. And that you don't have to choose between the expressions because they're still a part of you. And I think that was what was firmed up in me and what the doctoral program showed me.
Yeah. Well, it made an impact. It's obvious because there's some work in the 49507 that I know is directly connected to your doctoral research.
100%.
And families, whether it's in housing, health services, whether it's in parenting, all of those resources that are there, some of them they stemmed out of
100%
your research project.
Yes.
So is that what you're here to do?
I'm here, as far as what came out of the research?
Well, you talked about the fact that you have discovered what you're here to do.
Oh, yes.
That's part of it, but I'm trying to tie those two together.
Yeah, so I feel like, personally, my mandate is to build people.
Okay.
Period. That is if I had to sum it up in plain language, I am here to build people. That's my mandate. That's my purpose. That's my identity. Now, how that happens is the expression. So in me researching that was an expression of me building people, because what I wanted to do was uproot the why and also understand and bring to light the lack of effectiveness in workforce development programs for these targeted people that you say that workforce programs are for.
Sure.
Right? And
so how come it's not working for
how come, if this is intended for a certain group of people, why aren't they taking advantage of it? Could it be that we are still running archaic models? Now, again, not to call anybody out, but again, building people. Because my philosophy,
not just building programs.
And not just building programs, because my philosophy is, if we get back to building people, we will have better businesses. We will have better systems. We will have better leadership. We will have better school systems. We will have better nonprofits. it's the people that sustain it. And so that was an expression of me building people, because I went into a space, listened, sat, and made myself available and vulnerable to sit in a space where people are sharing their stories. And then I felt such a burden to amplify those stories so that we could not just put a Band-Aid over it, but let's figure it out. Here's the why. What can we do differently? Again, that's an expression. There are other expressions, right? What I do for work. Leading culture. That's a completely different expression.
And creating community.
And creating community.
Which brings that loop right back around to...
Exactly. So again, initially, I always felt like I had to choose. And I'm not saying nobody put that on me. A lot of that was me, right? Like there's certain things I don't want to do, certain things I don't want to be a part of, right? For personal reasons, things I've seen, my experiences. And then it's like I woke up one day with this epiphany, like, Shaq, you don't have to choose. It's still a part of you. It's just a different expression of a united purpose. It is not a deviation.
Kudos to you, though, for discovering that early, because just looking at the two generational differences here, it's challenging after you've lived a part of your professional career, ministerial career, your community identity around other people's expectations of a stereotype or what a person should be. You're also, in addition to being a doctor, you also serve as an executive in healthcare industry, but you also serve as a minister. You also a musician, accomplished musician, as well as other things. You know, good dad, a good husband. You can shout out. You can shout out to your girls if you like.
Yeah. Shout out to my wife, Caitlin. Love you, baby. Vay. That's my girl, and then also my unborn child. I was wondering if you was going. I was wondering if you was going.
I didn't want to, let the cat out the bag.
Okay. It's okay, but we got an unborn child on the way, and we're excited about baby Anthony. Baby Anthony is gonna be all right. I'm excited.
And I'm praying for him even now. How you live up to Big Anthony? Just because you was born baby Anthony.
No, listen, I'm just saying, but no, shout out.
You gonna name him Anthony?
Anthony.
A2.
That is actually hilarious.
Or A to the second power.
A to the second power.
You know, there's probably folks listening to this be like, well, wait a minute. Hold on. No, man, you have seriously accomplished some things that people dream of. What's next for you? What are you looking to do even further beyond this current role?
I think for me, I want to continue in the career field that I'm in building. In that, I feel like I have a lot of momentum in that space. But I think what's next for me is books. I'm gonna get back to my love. I have one book, and I self-published. And I don't know why I feel such a tug and a pull to like go after a publishing deal. And I've never said that out loud. Not because it's like I'm chasing anything. I just feel like I did it once on my own. But I feel like what's coming out of me this time is I wrote that book in one of the toughest seasons of my life, and it has encouraged and empowered a lot of people. But I feel like since then, I wrote that book. I wrote the book when I was 22.
Sure, and you were going through some life experiences.
Oh.
You should give the title so that people can find it on Amazon, or if they...
Yeah, so it's called Purposefully Afflicted. It's funny. I actually took it down because I was about to rebrand it. But then I got a slap on the wrist and was just like...
Just leave it there?
Just leave it and write what's next.
Yeah.
Don't put your energy into trying to revamp it. It came out of you the way that it was supposed to.
Exactly.
Let that be.
And we'll see the progression.
Oh, 100%. Right?
That's the... you fast forward from 22 to 32.
Exactly. So it's been a 10-year gap, and it's crazy because I have felt the urge to write again. Like, it's been in me. Like, I titles are already solidified. Like, I almost have... I have most of them already outlined. Yeah. Like chapter by chapter, right? And so I think that's next.
Yeah, that doctoral research will do that to you.
Well, after that, coming out of that doctoral program, I didn't want to read or write at all for 2 years. Yeah. I actually didn't.
Yeah.
You should have saw me trying to put together a Barbie dream house without reading instructions.
He's like, I am
I was
not reading the
committed to not
instructions.
doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't want to read. I'm
Man.
not reading that. I even put the Bible app on. I'm listening to it. I don't want to read
right,
it
because your eyes. This is my eyes. My eyes.
I'm tired of reading. But that's
But that's part of it.
yeah, that's part of it. But I think it's more books. I think it's more speaking publicly.
Which you do well. That's the other thing, that the other accolade is an accomplished public speaker, not just simply somebody who speaks. But
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a good journey building that, and I think that's it as well. And building curriculums to help people live in purpose on purpose. That's my thing. And it's funny because I got that when I was 22.
Yep, living in
I
purpose on purpose.
signed every book that I sold, Live in Purpose on Purpose. At 22, I remember the day that I got it.
It's amazing how you have these moments, these epiphanies.
But it's crazy that live in purpose on purpose, and then 10 years later, I literally recently, I have an epiphany around my mandate of building people. Mm-hmm. At that point, I wasn't as clear on that.
Sure.
But I got live in purpose on purpose.
Well, we can't have this conversation without a little bit of scripture.
Yes, sir.
We know in part and we prophesy in part.
Oh, yes, sir.
But when the fullness comes, it's going to manifest in a way that is God's plan and purpose for your life. It's a joy watching you grow. It's a joy knowing that you have purpose and that you are intentional about it. What would you say to somebody coming behind you? You got some young Shaq Anthony's out there. You got some young guys who maybe have made some of the same life choices, decisions, or have the same experiences, but yet they don't have to have negative outcomes. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I would say the day that your life will change is the day that you start to think and see yourself, your circumstances, and everything around you differently. That's the day your life changes. It doesn't change when you get more money.
Correct.
It doesn't change when the
money
success
just makes
comes.
you more of what you already are.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Money, fame, attention only amplifies what's already there.
Exactly.
But the day that you see and think about everything around you, yourself, your situation, your circumstances differently, that is the day your mind changes. And I would tell anybody younger or even older, it's never too late to live in purpose. Like living in purpose and choosing to navigate the path of purpose is a decision. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times I think we wait to feel something, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm waiting on a feeling to do what I said I'm gonna do, or to operate in a way that I should. We're waiting on a feeling, and I think when it comes to purpose, identity, and living in that, we're waiting on a feeling, but really it's a dichotomy. It's a decision. Exactly. It is a framework that you operate from. You live in that. It's not a this ethereal thing, right, as people think it is. Oh yeah, moment. No, it is, and I think people need to know, young and old, older, seasoned, right? Mm-hmm. That you have a choice. Your decisions, your mentality, the framework by which you operate, your operating system, like you have the opportunity to change that. Like it's never too late to start again, or to I am, when people look at me and they see me, right? Strip down all the stuff, right? Take away the doctor, take away the family, take away all the stuff, the accolades, the accomplishments, take away the degrees. At the end of the day, when people look at me, I want them to be able to see a person that just woke up and decided. That's it. I'm no bigger. I'm not this,
Sure.
This I'm not greater than
so
these.
You just simply went for it.
I decided. Yeah. It was my decision, and in my decision stemmed from my framing. The moment that I saw things differently, and I stopped feeling sorry for myself or sulking in what I was experiencing, and I started to think about the lessons in it, and started to use my crisis as a classroom. You know what I'm saying? The moment that I started doing that, it changed everything for me. Like That's what I mean when I say I decided. So no matter what you're in right now, no matter what you're going through right now, no matter what your life looks like, right? And I mean, let's be clear. You could be at the bottom of the barrel today. At your lowest point, no matter where you are in life, you still have one of the greatest things, and that's a decision.
Yeah.
And your decision has the power to change everything. And I know people try to sound deep and super spiritual.
Sure.
It's really that simple.
Yeah.
It's not Houdini, right? It's
right.
really
this,
that.
This sounds like maybe one of the chapters in the book. Decisions, decisions, decisions. But let me say this. Let me say this about the fact that your absolute resolve is the strongest card you play. You play that card really, really well. Just absolute decisions. I'm sure you calculate those things. I'm sure that they are resolved through prayer and through some form of reasoning and rationale. But you're also a risk taker. And there are people who are safe, people who like to stay, on the shore, or people wait for somebody to come along and tell them it's okay to move. You could talk to that person real quick.
Yeah. So, when you think about this this connotation around risk, right? It's it's risky. It's like this whole life we live is risky, right? Like let's be honest.
Yeah.
Everything is risky. But I rather take the risk than to sit and stay stagnant and look at myself not 5-10 years from now, 2 years from now, and wish I would have done something different.
And miss the moment. Miss that moment.
Again, I always say framing is everything. So when you talk about risk taking, when you talk about, how I want to play it safe, it's like, but really you don't get anybody that you look up to, anybody that you admire, anybody that you call a mentor. And again, shout out to all of mine. There are several.
Yeah.
I don't want to call too many names because I don't want to forget. But Dr. Jamone Glenn,
yes.
right? Bishop Designate R.J. Marshall,
yes.
you, right? My brother Brandon Davis, right?
Yeah.
There's so many. Ovale Barbie. There's so many. My godfather, the Bishop Dennis McMurray, right? All of these great men, and that's just to name a few. So if I forgot, charge to my head, not my heart. I'm just calling them out, right?
You covered your bases.
I'm
messing with you, man.
But these
those
people,
are all honorable men.
They're all honorable men, but they're all men who have shown me a version of me.
Yes.
Who have never been afraid to turn the mirror to me and say, "Hey, look, you can do this. You can jump. You can, And so for those that are playing it safe right now, you gotta think about it this way. There's no greater risk than staying stagnant. Wow. Period. That's the greatest risk.
We're going to have another episode.
That's the greatest risk.
The two of us. When this airs, it'll be after we've completed the F3 Summit.
Yes, sir.
The symposium that is centered around fathers, faith, and freedom. You're a walking example of that. One of the speakers, one of the presenters, people have the opportunity to go back and look at some of the footage. But I just want to publicly say thank you. Thank you for being Shaquille Anthony, Dr. Shaquille Anthony. That we tease back and forth, and I can be young with you, but then I can also feel that respect that you give.
100%.
And the shout out to those men that you spoke of, I concur. Those are all great men who've done some wonderful deposits into the lives of young men coming along.
Yeah.
You got a little ways to go, man. The old folks all got to tell you that. You just keep on living.
Keep on living, right?
Put it like this. So far, so good.
Man, I'm grateful.
Your humility and your willingness to acknowledge the fact that you didn't do it on your own, and that God is ordering your step, man. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate what you contribute to the F3 Summit, and of course, even just being a published author. Man, I think it's great things. This episode is definitely one of my favorite. I'm just going to put it in the books already. But Shaq Anthony, with Dr. Shaquille Anthony, we'll be back to talk a little bit more, about life and purpose and living life on purpose, in purpose, and on purpose. So thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Growth Exchange Podcast with Dr. Tarence Lauchié. Let's grow. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of The Growth Exchange. I'm Dr. Tarence Lauchié. It's been a pleasure to have these conversations and dialogues with our guests. If you notice, one thing we all share in common, and that is the ability, the desire, and the potential to grow and maximize our fullest potential. So keep tuning in. Share this with somebody, like it, maybe even invite somebody. And if you'd like to be a guest, contact us with the information that's here and available for you. Let's grow.